Hello, hey everyone, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're joining us today. Hey, Starry Night, good to see you. We are doing the Mercury retrograde thing. I'm already talking like crazy anyway. Yeah, it's retrograde, so communication's probably a little off. We definitely had some technology issues pretty much every week. Um, and we're still working through those. And, if you're experiencing these sorts of technical difficulties, they're part of your journey, part of your experience, and they're meant to get you on the right track to help you figure out exactly what needs to be done. Um, so just do your best to plug in to the best of your ability. And maybe, there's something that is to come. If you're struggling with any particular tech item or something else going on in your life, just let us know what that is, and we'd love to hear more about it. If you, I realized that the post for the video didn't quite go up. I had it set, but didn't quite go up, and now it is up. Um, uh, and that's part of the Mercury retrograde, I guess, right? So if you check out the broadcast for the forecast this week, we have a Kazemi, which is when the sun and Mercury and the moon are all going to be hanging out together. So I think that was Wednesday, Thursday, right, Bright Hawk? I think the Kazemi's on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, so the one of the headlines for the week is definitely the fact that Mercury is going retrograde, and it's also going to step back out of Sagittarius into Scorpio on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, we have a new moon in Scorpio. So Scorpio placements, you're going to be feeling it. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and of Virgo. So since that's the ruling planet, people who have major Virgo placements, like your rising or your sun, which is both of us, Hollis's sun, my rising, you're going to be feeling the retrograde for sure, as well, of course, with the Geminis. And it's going on all month. So it's interesting that at the end of the month, November 27th, Saturn will turn direct, and November 29th, Mercury will turn direct. So, and then in December 10th, Neptune turns direct. So remember, during retrogrades, we're doing that review, renew, re-edit, recycle, every re-word you can think of. And when all of that retrograde energy starts to move forward again in December, essentially, it's going to feel really different. It's going to feel really different, especially Neptune is the one that I think all of us are going to notice, because Neptune retrograde tends to create a lot of illusion. People just don't see the truth. And this country seems to be suffering from a great deal of that. And it seems like there are some of us who are jumping up and down going, don't you see the truth? And other people who are like, huh? What? And so I'm wondering in December what further gets revealed and seen in its correct light, what that does, what happens there. So yeah, Wednesday's a new moon. There's very little void, of course, moons this week. There was one today from today noon, starting at noon Mountain Time, all the way to 9:45. So we're actually still in the middle of it. And it's Libra. It's moving out of Libra into, of course, Scorpio. So if you have placements there, I'll be curious. Did you notice the void today? Was it hard to get your anything done, or was it easy? I know for me, I felt like I was not clear headed in my thinking and really wanted to be clear headed in my thinking. So I'm glad that Hollis, between the two of us, we managed to come up with a plan for the week that feels like, okay, we know what we're doing every day and we know what we need to get done, because that feels good to a Virgo. So Mercury, Scorpio, it's a lot this week. And of course, new moons are the best time to create your intentions, to create the what it is that you would like to have happen this month. And of course, Scorpio energy, the moon in Scorpio is going to be deep, it's going to be emotional, it might know secrets. It's the best thing you could do is lean into integrity, into spirituality, personal practices that make you feel connected to yourself, to the planet, to your life, to your purpose. Those are all really good things to do.
Yeah, so there's a lot of energy going on this week. It's, the intensity is not quite over yet. So if you've been struggling with something, that's the Mercury retrograde. Best thing to do is try to look at the emotional shifts that need to be made. Those emotional shifts will really help you on your path. They'll help get you on your path, which generally is helpful right now. I think trying to manage this right now is difficult for some, depending on your placements. So if you have any questions, you want to post your astrology chart, or you have any questions about your own chart, please put that up. Sure, Virgo, Gemini rising. Oh my God, a tense. Of course, because you got double Gemini. And since Gemini rules your first house, that's vitality. So, and Virgo deals with health. So, Mercury retrograde show, you'll probably always deal with some sort of health thing. Um, Everything from the cold and the flu to other things because you're a Gemini rising. Gemini rising, and plus you're a Virgo. So your sun is speaking to that Mercury retrograde, and so is your rising. So you have two things speaking to it, and Virgo rules health anyway. So it's kind of the way it is. And the first house, which is your rising, um, is also your vitality and your health. So it's kind of how it goes. So yeah, so there's lots of things you can find out in your astrology chart. You have to check in and see what sounds best to you, what's most interesting to you. Some people really want to dive into their past lives or their future lives, and um um you can ask a general question, Starry Night, and I'll do my best to answer it. So you can post your astrology chart or an astrology question or anything like that, and I'll do my best to answer it. Okay, that's what today is all about. So I'm glad you're here. The astrology right now is particularly intense. This is a void moon on my moon, Bright Hawk. So I'm um okay, Starry Night. So then ask a specific question and you'll get a specific answer. Definitely Mercury retrograde for sure, right? Oh my gosh, definitely. Um you can always throw your question out there, and if I won't answer it, I'll just say I can't answer that. Yeah. Um just Okay, so do you have a specific question, Starry Night? That's your birth date and stuff, okay?
Well, while Hollis plugs that in, Steve asked about the yod. What do you think of the yod? Yeah, so let's talk about that. Thank you for asking. It's a really good question. And some of you are like, what the heck is a yod? So, a yod is what we call a finger of God. It's known by several names. And what it means is that it's two what we call inconjuncts. So instead of being 180 degrees across, it's 150 degrees. So it's two inconjuncts, and then the base of it means that there's two planets on either side that are 60 degrees apart, which is sextile. Okay, you with me? Two inconjuncts and a sextile. Now, sextiles are generally good energy. They're helpful energy, but it usually requires you take a little bit of action. The inconjuncts, the 150 degrees, also known as a quincunx, isn't that a great word? What that means is it's fated energy. It's really, really hard, some would say impossible, to change. It's points to whatever it points to, whatever the top of the yod is sort of the facilitator, the focus point of the energy. I happen to have several yods in my birth chart and a mystic rectangle. No surprise that I'm into spirituality. I'm a Sag. This is what we do. Now, the other thing that hopefully Steve's talking about today's chart, there is a yod today on Monday, and it points to the moon, the Libra moon. And the base of the yod is we've had Saturn and Neptune traveling together retrograde from Aries into Pisces. They're at 25 and 29 degrees. Right now, the moon is at 29, so it's going to be more of Neptune than Saturn, but it's influencing. So the moon, Neptune, and the other point is Uranus. And of course, Uranus is all about revolution and change. Nothing will stay the same, right? Something's going to get squeezed and everything's going to change. So we look at Uranus, we think about revolution and change and what needs to change. The other base is Neptune, and Neptune is retrograde, and I just talked about how Neptune retrograde can lead us to distortions in the field, right? So one of the big headlines that broke today is another layer of the Epstein saga and all of the how could they and the lies and the hiding the lies and all this kind of thing. That's why I wonder what's going to happen when Neptune goes direct. I'm really curious. So yeah, it's a big energy. I'm really glad you asked about it. And is there anything you want to add to it, Hollis?
So I was looking at Steve's information because he also put his information in there. He's a 28 moon's at 28 degrees Taurus, and immediately I think, oh, Steve, Uranus is retrograde on top of your moon, dude. And then I guess your Pluto is there too? Or is Pluto at 28 degrees Libra? Which,
I think so.
and then Neptune at 26 degrees. Oh, you know what? He's drawing, yeah, but it's headed your way, Steve. Uranus is headed towards that moon. I think he's drawing a yod here.
He's saying his yod. He wasn't talking about today's yod. Well, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my friend, I'm going to just say you and I have a similar thing to today's configuration. And when that's happening, I can't help but think it's going to light up our yods. Because today's yod lines up to the moon, just like yours does, just like mine does. It's always going to be different. It doesn't necessarily, it's a yod can point to anything. It's not always going to be the moon. That's what I want to say. And of course, you have Neptune in your yod and Pluto. Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the base, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And so absolutely, your half the yacht of today is lighting up the same configuration.
I wonder if
Very interesting. So
So
your Neptune is at 26 Sag, and Neptune right now is at 29 Pisces. That's 60, 90, a square away. Yeah, you're gonna feel it, and it won't be comfortable.
Well, what I was gonna say
is I wanted to ask you, Steve, are you dealing with some sort of investment? I don't know what house Taurus, the moon in Taurus is in, but it usually points to that energy. So a yacht is usually kind of like, like points at one energy. And so I'm looking at that yacht and I'm thinking about that yacht and I'm like, oh, well, if it's pointing to the Taurus moon, Uranus is going to come back there and bring you some big surprise. And then so Taurus usually has something to do with, like, it could be, I mean, it depends on what house it's in, but it could be like something to do with money or something to do with an investment or a long-term relationship. Oh, I just paid my house off. Okay. See, Steve, I knew it was something. Well, there could be a surprise that comes up around that.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you're finished that transaction yet, but of just paying your house off, Steve. But with Uranus coming back there could be an extra gift that's meant to happen. Maybe there's some realization about your home, maybe the home's value or something like that. You might realize you've made a bunch of money on your investment or something like that. Okay. Starry night, I've already looked at your chart. There's a couple of things. You're probably not going to like my answer. That's what I'm going to start with, because you are talking about a woman that's throwing magic at you for the last 8 years. So I've had a lifetime of experience with both dark magic and light magic. And the one thing that I've learned is that dark magic users cannot touch you if you are light enough. They cannot reach you. It's sort of like if you're on the top of a high-rise building and they're shooting from the septic system, they can't reach you. The arrow they're shooting at you just totally won't even go up that high. So I'm going to suggest that you shift your resonance, that you shift your belief system. You have a bunch of grand trines in your chart. So right now you might be having a little bit of some difficulties and you might be trying to blame it on her, but I'm not even sure she can reach you unless, of course, you've sent out some sort of negative karma to her, and then it's going to come back and bite you, because you have mostly trines in your chart, which means life gifts you a lot of things. And with Mars retrograde in the 11th house, this tells me that you may internalize things. You may, if someone's mad at you, you may internalize that as a direct you'll take it very personally. It is in a square to Uranus, which could kind of mess with your life path at times, and definitely speak into the vortex in which what will make you grow. So my suggestion to you is to get up on the top of that high rise, do some shadow work, become a better person, and that just means changing your resonance. So I would recommend shadow work. So I'm doing shadow work this month at Mystics Academy. Maybe that's what you need to tap into. It is shadow work season. This is the season that many witches and shamans and whatever you want to call it. I don't call myself a shaman because, yeah. Anyway, I call myself a witch, a mystic. So I would say that maybe doing some shadow work could really help you. That's what I'm going to tell you. Kat said I was smacked with a rainbow brighter than I've ever seen before while I was driving on the highway today. Wow, it's so bright the cars were stopping. It sounds so fabulous, Kat. That's beautiful. So, I don't know what you mean by that takes a ton of time. Changing your resonance is nothing more than a step into the light, my dear. All you have to do is step to the right and you're there. Negative energy workers, if there is a person actually showing, sending negative energy to you, it can't reach you if you change your resonance. Just shadow work takes a long time. If you do a little bit, a couple times a year, you'd probably find that it actually gets easier in time. Mercury retrograde right up. And so the shadow work, actually, if you do it a couple times a year, if you have a spiritual lifestyle, you end up doing shadow work on a regular. So then the universe doesn't usually smack you upside the face with it. Sometimes it kind of pushes you a little bit. Sometimes we need that little push, but no, it doesn't take that much time. No, it doesn't. You can literally, long time ago, I'm 50. I was about 30 something. I was like 31, 32, somewhere around there. It's just at the end of my Saturn returns, and I said to somebody, God damn it, I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time. I'm so tired of being negative and depressed and angry, and I hate this feeling. And she said, well, you're in the dark, but you can literally just take a couple steps to the right there, and you'll be in light. And it's just that easy. And I was like, what? And I kind of thought she was kind of crazy when she said that, but turns out she was kind of right, actually. I just started to love myself. I started doing affirmations each day, and within a couple of days, my resonance began to shift, and it began to shift very brightly and very differently. And now I'm a completely different person. And yeah, I've come a long way since then, but really, shadow work is an ongoing process. It will never end. It is something you always do for yourself, and it's ongoing. At least in my opinion. I think most people that do true shadow work, true witches, true shamans would all say that. Kat said I work daily to stay high vibes and keep a return to sender bubble on myself. So any haterade? The cat always has fun things. Okay, just bounces off. So far, so good. Some days are easier than others, but that rainbow today was a great sign that my efforts aren't being missed by the universe. That's right, Kat. You are being blessed every day, and life sometimes is hard. Sometimes we experience hard things because, did you know? Nothing grows without resistance. Nothing on planet Earth will grow unless there is resistance. And so you have to embrace those moments, and I'm sure you're having some of those right now, Starry Night, because Mercury's in retrograde in Scorpio right now. So I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with your siblings, your neighbors, or communication, definitely with communication, and with any of those things. It could also have to do with like your friends, and it probably also has to do maybe with your home or your family of origin or even your parents. So those things are really impacted right now for you. And I really feel like you're having major awakenings as well, with Uranus going back and forth in your ninth house of spiritual awakenings. So that's been going on for like the last year, especially also with things popping in and out of Aries. That's also going to change your relationships. So if you've been experiencing relationship shifts, especially with people that have control and power over you, friends, um, or anyone that influences you, including coworkers, um, and especially right now with like specifically with communication, that's really gonna speak loudly to you. And we could go deeper into a private reading, but that's pretty much what I see in your astrology for right now. And what I would say is that to focus on shadow work and focus on shifting yourself, because that's what this Mercury retrograde is about. That's why we do weekly astrology every week, because we let you know what you should be focusing on, so that especially in a Mercury retrograde, especially for you, Starry Night, because in case you didn't know, you're a Virgo rising. Being a Virgo rising, gonna throw you off a little bit when Mercury goes retrograde, so you can feel a little scattered and a little like, whoa, what's going on around here? So if that's happening, Mercury's retrograde right now. So what I would suggest is that you try to embrace the Mercury retrograde instead of pushing up against it. Sometimes us Virgos, we get to overthinking things and overdoing things, and it's just kind of So what would be better is if you tapped into it and figured out what the universe was trying to get you to shift into, so that way you could make that shift, so that you could better step forward into exactly what your future is. And you should definitely check out the reels. They'll be coming out a little bit later today. They're actually we're working on chopping them up right now, so there will be shorts. I have already released the video on the YouTube channel. So you should see the main forecast. Take a look at that, Starry Night. Maybe consider joining Mystics Academy at the novice mystics level. Novice just means that you're learning. And so, a novice mystic is, there's lots of great information about that. Um, in the shadow work, there's lots of stuff about shadow work. There's a 2-hour video available right now, and I'm pretty sure that you could find some change in there. Now, Kat said, Hollis Taylor, you were on point on my SSI info for a while back. You said 11/9, I'd get the information, and I got my award letter that day. The decision was made on Samhain. I got the letters on 11/9. Woo! Yeah, that's right. Good. Awesome, Kat. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy you got what you needed. And I'm glad that I could give you that moment of relief and give you a date to look forward to, and that it was accurate. But it's really not mine. It's not me predicting that. I mean, it is. I'm reading the astrology. That's what's happening. Astrology is the most accurate form of divination I've ever encountered. I mean, honestly, I've done it all. I've done it tarot, I've done pendulums, I've done mediumship, and really honestly, astrology is the most accurate. It's on point. It's really good about timing. It's really good about telling you when things are going to change. When, like right now, I'm in a Mercury retrograde, and I know that not much is going to change between now and the end of the month, except for me, maybe. My perspective will probably change. And Brighthawk and I both know that. And had we not know that the Mercury's in retrograde right now, we may have made different choices and been really banging our head up against the wall. But now we're trying not to do that. We're instead embracing the shift. And that's what I'm talking about. So once you understand the astrology, it's a little bit easier to walk through things, and you'll know, you'll have dates like I gave to Kat, exact dates of exactly when things will happen.
And I
ahead.
just want to acknowledge Starry Night. Thanks for your questions and for participating in the dialogue. We always try to let you know about tools and things you can lean into. So when we talk about Virgo, and we talk about Mercury, and communication is really, really important. One of the things you might want to look up is called nonviolent communication. And what it's really good at doing is helping you clarify what's really important. And if you're familiar, this information is widely available, and I highly recommend it. So the first thing is what was the observation, right? What did you want to have happen? It starts with, I think, what you wanted to have happen, what you observed happening, and then asking the person a simple question: would you be willing? Would you be willing, whatever it is? So it's very clean and clear and very succinct. Would you be willing? And then step back, be quiet, listen. And the person might give you information that you're not familiar with. They might explain something you might need to know. There's a whole thing that can unravel in a non-violent way when we approach with, as much as we can, observation. This is how I feel about it. This is what I want to feel. In order to get there, would you be willing to help me out? And blah, 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 whatever the ask is. Keep the ask simple, short, succinct, and then stop talking. It's a really good practice. And it really helps you think through, especially if you have a big emotion, take responsibility for it and go, okay, wait, what's really going on here? And then you can start to follow the process, and it becomes so much easier. Oh, and Kat just said they took a nonviolent communication class. That's even better, because then you get to practice. Practice. It's not one and done for sure, but it's like so many things. If we practice these things, we get better at it, and people want to engage with us more, because they're not going to feel attacked. They're going to feel like this is a reasonable person, and if something comes up, we can have a reasonable conversation. So hopefully that's helpful. We try to share tools here.
Yeah, Tisha was wondering, with Tisha, I have to look at your astrology chart. That's how I do it. I have to know your date and time of birth and all that. So that's astrology is a really powerful tool. I do talk about how to look at your shadow and your shadow work at Mystics Academy this month. The video was so good. I took a deep dive in how the astrology looks. So if you're trying to say, well, Hollis, I'm not exactly sure what my shadow is or whatever, your shadow shows up in your astrology chart. You can see it there. And if you're trying to navigate it, the healing is there too. So I talk about that in the astrology in the video at Mystics Academy. So you're welcome to join that. Okay. Oh, okay. Bianca said, so glad to catch this tonight and see you guys' faces. It's been a while, but I get so frustrated because I can never figure out how to post pictures. Bianca, just send it to me directly or just message me your B-Day. Tisha, do you know what time you were born? Bianca, I don't have your chart. Why do I feel like I have it? No, I don't. Welcome, Donna. We're glad you made it. Welcome. It's good to have you with us. So, astrology really is the most powerful tool you'll ever use. Especially someone that really knows how to read it, especially it took me, like, Bright Hook and I took, like 3 classes a week for like 4 years, 3 years, something like that, pretty much. I mean, we pretty much took 3 or 4 classes a week, like, and those classes are not short. They're like an hour, sometimes 2 hours long. man, we totally did a deep dive on astrology for years, and it was great. We had a great time with it. We really enjoyed, and she's a Virgo rising, so um and I'm a Virgo, so Virgos generally love love to love to learn. Okay, so Bianca said,
So Tisha, if you know what time you were born, that will help a lot. Were you hoping Hollis was going to look at your chart and try to help you with your timing of your SSI? I think that's what.
yeah, sounds like she's.
Well,
yeah. Bianca.
It's kind of deep, but okay.
Bianca, I need to know. Bianca, I need to know where you were born.
Right. So we always need, obviously, time and date and location. Those are the three main things. Most people have their sun sign figured out with just your birthday and your location, but if you could put in the time, that really gets things a lot more specific. Because the rising sign relates to the houses. The rising sign tells us a lot about how you approach life. And if we don't know what your rising sign is because of the time is not known, then Hollis is actually quite good, I'll say, about figuring out. There's questions we can ask, there's facial features we look at, there are things you can do. It's called rectification. If a chart needs to be rectified and you're booking a reading, book a little extra time so that can happen. It usually takes a few minutes to figure out. But you get pretty close. I've seen Hollis do it in some amazing circumstances. We have a friend who was born on an airplane. What's the location and what's the time and what time zone? So it was really not known. So Hollis did a series of questions, and at the end, everybody felt like, yep, I think you got it. I think you know what the rising is. So just so you know, that's why it's important, and it helps. It orients the chart, so then we know exactly what sign and houses go together, and that speaks volumes. If you don't know it, and we're not able to rectify, say it's somebody else's chart that you're working with, it will still give us information, but it won't be as deeply accurate, just so you know. So that's why that's important.
So Bianca, I don't know if you had a specific question, but yeah, I'm looking at quick readings. Kat, I'm doing like quick little readings about like what's happening right now. And what I would say, Bianca, is whatever's going on definitely has something to do with your kids, maybe day-to-day life. Probably both of those things. I don't know if you have kids. If it's not kids, it'd be your romantic relationship or fun or something you create, like creative things that is like your baby. Like, if you created a book, that would be your baby. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now for you, Bianca. That's what this Mercury retrograde is happening in your fifth, sixth. It's mostly in your fifth house, but it would probably also influence your sixth because Jupiter is there in Scorpio at 28 degrees. So, in fact, the Cazimi, I think that I talk about make sure you watch the forecast because that Cazimi, Bianca, is going to happen directly on your Jupiter, but it's actually probably really good. So you'll probably have like, okay, it'll probably be really huge spiritual awakening. Like, holy cow, you'll probably feel like, oh, okay. Well, Bianca, you have two children, a daughter on this side and a son on the other side. I would not be surprised if something suddenly changes with both. Maybe with your relationship with your son on the other side and your daughter, or something about your connection. Maybe your daughter, I don't know how old your daughter is, but she could come through and say something from your son or something like that. So I would just stay wide open, especially during the Kazemi, because it's a new moon in Scorpio on your Jupiter, which is in the fifth house. So that's really, and it's in a square to your Aquarius moon. So your Aquarius moon is in the eighth house. So that starts to make me think about like um your spirituality and becoming aware, maybe popping a shadow or something like that, some sort of shadow piece that you're going through right now. Okay, so Bright Hawk, do you want to look at her chart?
Yeah, Bianca's.
Yeah, look at
I
Bianca's
know
chart.
it's the same. She has.
Did you get all the, I'll give it to you
No.
real quick. Here, I'll give it to you. Yeah, so it's it's a
She and I have the same birthday.
yeah, it is. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I could just copy and paste the information for you, huh?
Can you airdrop it or?
Yeah, I think I can actually. That's a good idea. That's what I can do. Yep, look at that, airdrop to Bright Hawk. There you go. Yeah, so Bianca, you definitely got something going on with like, and Jupiter, remember I talked about it last week? Jupiter is like that spiritual awakening. It's in Cancer right now, but Jupiter is also the ruler. Did you get it, Bright Hawk?
No.
It's also the ruler.
Oh wait, popped up. Accept.
It's also Jupiter is also the ruler of Sagittarius, which rules your sixth house there. So that's why I said it might have something to do with like your work or your job, or even your identity or your health, because your sun is there. So because the sun is there, but it's also at 28 degrees. So you got a lot going on between that conversation between Jupiter and the sun, plus your 29-degree moon. It's all kind of in a huge beautiful conversation. You're going to have a major shift this week. Major like sort of, okay. It might rock you a little bit, so just hang on when it happens, Bianca, and then just stay open. Like just stay open to things, okay? Just stay open. Chelsea, don't I already have your chart? I think I do.
It didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work. Shoot. Huh. Okay, let me just try it again. It says you declined it.
No, I didn't.
Did you get it that time?
We'll find out. Yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to take a look for Chelsea's chart because Chelsea is well, Bright Hawk, you can just chime in. You said Lincoln, Nebraska. I found you, Chelsea.
Okay, while you look at that, I'll talk.
Okay.
Where did the thing go? So try to put yourself on mute.
I am.
Good. Okay, Bianca, I got your chart. Thank you for that. It makes it so much easier to get specific, and it's fascinating that we have the same birthday. Of course, different years. So the first thing that jumps out is, of course, that you have a grand trine and a minor trine that equals a kite. You probably know that. And your grand trine is in water, and we have had a grand trine in water most of this month. Have you noticed that? Is that lighting up anything for you? Because your grand trine has the moon involved. And sort of 2 degrees, 4 degrees, 29. And Pluto, which is major transformation in Libra. Okay, so it's not perfected, what we would call perfected. But I can't help but wonder if you don't feel it when the moon does some major things. And right now, that grand water trine that has been happening a great deal of the month. And this week, that grand water trine starts off strong today. And the sun and sun and Mercury are conjunct most of this week, and then they start to separate. So at the beginning of the week, the top of the water, the grand trine in water, this point is held by Sun, Neptune, and Jupiter. And then, yeah, no, exactly right. Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter. Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter, 25 degrees is perfected. And then the Sun and Mercury switch places, and then later in the week, Mercury is holding that point at 25 degrees in Scorpio. So, yeah, I can't imagine you wouldn't feel some of that. That's one of the first things that jumps out at me.
Brighthawk, why don't you take a look a little bit
more at her chart? I can send you Chelsea's chart, which is fascinating to me. You might be interested to see. Now, before I even looked at Chelsea's message, she said, I feel like this career no longer serves me and that I need to go down a different path. And the first thing I was going to say, Chelsea, is that this Mercury retrograde's definitely got you talking about relationships, particularly relationships at work, particularly like people you work with, coworkers. Maybe it's just not speaking to you, or there's something going on at work that doesn't feel so great. And that's exactly what she said. Of course, I came up and I seen her question. I was like, of course it's about work. Let me say this, Chelsea, is that you have that North Node in Aries in the 11th house. It also rules your 12th house. I know you had a reading earlier this year. I don't know if I went all the way to 2025, like late 25 into 2026. I usually do like 6 months to a year's of transits, and I give you exact dates when I do your reading. But I feel like 2026 is going to be a big year for you, because and it's all whatever sort of shift you just got, Chelsea, Saturn just came in and gave you a warning over the summer about this. Saturn came in on your North Node along with Neptune, and it might have been a little bit of like an illusion about something, maybe about work. And it was on your North Node in Aries, and now it's turned around and gone back into Pisces. Maybe you're seeing some behaviors in your coworkers or boss or other people that you work with or have influence on you in some way. And that energy right there, that's going to shift things. Plus the Mercury retrograde is going on in the 7th house. And it's speaking to Venus, which is in Sagittarius. It's going right over top of that. In fact, Mercury turned around and went retrograde right just a couple degrees past it. So I imagine there could be something about money or relationships or both. And so you're kind of going through it. And then also Uranus is moving back onto your moon, lighting up your opposition with your Taurus moon opposite your Venus and Sag. So this speaks to very much about maybe there's something like at work about money, and maybe you're feeling like it's not really, you want to stay consistent, you want to stay loyal as that's who you are, but maybe you're not making enough money, or the relationships aren't right, or you hate who you work with, or whatever it is. Those kinds of things. All of that's going to shift in 2026. So I just want you to brace for change. Take care of anything that you can take care of in advance. So Saturn and Uranus have already warned you this year. So what did you get a warning about this year? Listen to that, because Saturn spoke to you. Yeah, Saturn always knocks on the door first. It's a teacher. So it's always like pap, 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 before it changes things. It's going to come back in the spring of 26. So that's going to be like March. We can go into deeper detail, but that's pretty much what I'm seeing there for you, Chelsea, is that you're definitely going to experience some shifts in 2026. It's not going to be it may not be super easy, but it has a lot to do with your destiny, especially around work in particular. Okay. So so that's pretty much what's going to happen to you. Tisha, that's actually great news because it's on the 25th, which oh no, Mercury retrograde doesn't come out to
2 days later.
Is it 2 days later?
27.
Well, it may not be finished at that hearing for some reason. It may be delayed, or there could be some sort of delay or something like that. That's probably what's going to happen, Tish. So, did you have anything else you wanted to add, Bright Hawk?
I just want to validate, Kat. You've asked it there about specifics around your eco village vision, and I'm just going to say, if you're having visions about it, that's your sign.
Right.
You don't need us. Maybe you just need to hear, yeah, man, keep going. Follow your instincts, follow your vision, follow the yes. I feel a yes there. I'm very much on that wavelength right now. There's a lot of things I do not know, but the things I do know, I just keep honing in on that. It's like, okay, work that vibe, work that string, and right on. It sounds like you've got a beautiful vision, and I just validate that you keep listening to yourself and following through on when you do get a clear message about do this, go that way, do whatever. Our job is to listen. The hardest thing we all go through is at some point there's a point of crisis and a crisis of faith. I thought I knew what to do. I did this thing and it didn't work out. It's called learning. And sometimes when that happens to us, I did this thing, I thought it was the right thing, but it totally blew up. And now we question ourselves. Are my instincts good? Maybe my instincts are screwed up. This is when Hollis' little quote about have no fear, the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. Sometimes we can't see the lesson in the moment, but I always trust that we never suffer for no reason, that there's always something to learn, and if we ask a good question, we get a good answer. But if we ask a stupid question like, why me? Why does this always happen? That's not a good question. And you will come up with a reason, and it won't get you anywhere. So ask good questions. What can I learn from this? What is the universe asking of me? What's the best way I could show up in this moment? How will my future self thank me? That's a really good one. I've been using that one a lot lately. Go ahead and do the extra work, the extra task, the extra thing that makes your future self say, good job, thank you for doing that. That little extra prep you did, that little extra taking care of something, cleaning something up, so that when you go to do the next thing, you don't have to worry about the undone thing. Do stuff that your future self will thank you for. Good one. Take yourself.
Yeah, I realized I was on mute. Hey, Tish. So Tisha, I'm looking at yours now. I see that you're a Cancer. Wow, you have a very busy chart. You have a lot going on, honey. If you've never had a reading, you should definitely have a full reading. You're Aquarius rising, by the way, and a Pisces moon. So when will SSI happen? Oh, I see. Hmm, where's Capricorn? Oh. Yeah, so when you said you have a hearing, you said you have a hearing, Tish, you have a hearing, I think you said on like the 25th. I'm assuming that's the 25th of November. So, that could happen. Saturn is coming back and touching your moon. So SSI is usually disability. Um, Maybe the disability that you live with could be something to do with emotionality, water, or the electrical system in your body, including your brain. Um, and uh yeah, it might have something to do with your immune system, like an immune deficiency or something like that, or even your lymph nodes or your body fluids or your blood, those kinds of things. If that's true, then Saturn's visiting that and it will be just 1 degree away from your moon. It probably won't really come through though until Saturn goes direct, which is just a few days later. So it's like the 28th. So I'm right about why you're on disability. Yeah. So that's in your chart. Everything's in your chart, you guys. Your health is in your chart. The trauma you go through, your emotionality, your career, everything. Um, so everything is in your chart. And I just looked at the dates for you, Tish. It looks like you'll probably get it, but it probably won't come out until like a couple days later. Like you may not know the answer for some reason, or it gets delayed for some reason for a couple of days, or just something. Okay, so you may not have like all the information you need right away, so just be aware of that. Just wait a couple of days. You'll probably have it like even maybe the following week. Sometimes Saturn takes a little bit longer to feel once it goes direct. um okay, so good luck, Tish. I hope it happens for you. I'm pretty sure that you will get it, or there'll be some sort of forward moving process in that anyway. So I'm pretty sure you'll actually get it, mostly because it's going to be on your moon, and I think it has something to do with your general well-being, your emotionality that you get it. So like almost like you have to get this, and if you don't, it could be quite difficult. I do want to say, Chelsea, I noticed that you have Leo ruling your house of creativity, but Virgo is what we call intercepted. That means the beginning of the house is Leo and the end of the house is Libra. So Virgo is intercepted. This is a part of yourself you may not see so well, and I'm not surprised that you think that you want to do work that's a little bit more creative. Tap into writing, Chelsea. Just see what happens if you start writing. I'm going to encourage you to start writing. Okay? Because I think it might reveal, even if it's not exactly what the creative work that you're supposed to do, it will probably reveal some things that you need to do. Okay. Um, okay. Someone asked for a card. Hey, Brighthawk, why don't you put in Melissa Payne's information and see what you see for her? Yeah, she put her information in St. Louis, Missouri. If you put your information up, we can put it in our astrology software and take a look for you real quick. Oh, Tisha said I have a blood disease. Of course, Tisha. Yeah, see, it's in your chart. So I'm pretty sure it has something to do with your well-being, Tisha. Like you have to get this. If you don't, like maybe your situation will get worse or something. So, okay. So somebody asked for a card. Donna. Okay. A card for Donna. Donna wants a card. It wasn't a specific question. She just asked for a card, so I'll be happy to bring that up. And Cheryl, are you still here? I'll take a look at your chart. All right. Donna, I got the Knight of Wands. Hopefully you're still here. This is the Knight of Wands. This is a card that's very much about your intention and setting your intention and the creativity of that. So I want to say that if you have some sort of intention that you're thinking about or processing, it's also might be about some healing, because if you look really close at this card, the Knight has a little Brayhawk, if you want to, you can send that chart to me. You can see that the Knight has like a little tear dripping down their face. And that sometimes is an indicating that this is like the intention to heal. And the intention is everything. That's exactly what this is about, Donna. So intention is everything. This is a reminder that intention is everything. So what you want to do is you want to you want to really tap into what your intention is and how to go about that. You'll have a good plan by the end of the month if you set your intentions in a good way. That's what this is about, setting your intentions for creative healing. Okay? I'm not sure what that's going on, Donna, but I'm sure you can figure that out, how that applies. I'm sure it applies to you. Yeah, you're welcome, Tisha. You're welcome. I hope it works out for you. Cheryl, I'll take a look at your chart. I have it on hand.
Oh, there. Okay, cool. I think I figured out how to do it.
Yeah, Cheryl, I kind of said before. Oh, I got it. Got it.
Okay.
Open it. I have to open it.
So finish your thought with Cheryl.
Okay, so Cheryl, I said it before. Virgo rules your first house of vitality. Plus, your sun is Gemini, so you're gonna double feel Mercury retrogrades in a really big way. And your Mercury is not direct. Mercury's in Cancer for you, so probably this is going to be like every time Mercury retrograde comes off, it's going to be hard for you to work because Mercury's in your 10th house. So, oh wait, this is not Cheryl. This is the wrong Cheryl. This is a different Cheryl. Oh my gosh, I just realized. I was like, wait a minute, this is not Cheryl Clark. Okay, wait a minute. I was like, I don't remember this about Cheryl. Anyway, okay. Cheryl, same thing still, though, because that Mercury retrograde is also hitting your moon. So, or the Mercury retrograde is also affecting your moon and your rising being a Gemini rising plus your Virgo. So that speaks to your vitality. It's in your 4th house, so it's going to have a lot to do with your home. And Mercury is in its rulership for you. So you're definitely going to feel Mercury retrogrades in a really big way. What I would say for you in this time is to focus on the past, because this Mercury retrograde is really speaking to your Neptune in Scorpio. So that's your psychic abilities and the way you do things, and your past as far as your South Node in Scorpio. So this is your history. There must be something that you need to let go of, because I will also speak to that the South Node is on your sun in the 4th house in Virgo. So right now there's something you need to let go of, and this will help you move better into who you're meant to be as far as a psychic and as far as your psychic abilities go, because that's the North Node. The North Node is in your 12th house. Scorpio is a really intense sign, and it has a lot to do with spirituality, psychic, that kind of thing. It tends to be really intense in that department. Plus you have Neptune there, plus the South Node is in your 6th house. And so this is going to speak to your day-to-day life and what you do in work and the world. And since Mercury is retrograde between the 7th house of relationships and the 6th house of work, it's kind of going between those two places. And it's speaking to the 12th house, which is in Taurus, which is what you are meant to be. You're meant to be more consistent. You're meant to be reliable. You want to be reliable, and you're kind of reaching for that. But there's still something from your past that you're holding on to that you need to let go of. And I would focus on that. I feel like you know what that is. And if you don't, you'll know by the end of the week. Okay? If you don't know what that is yet, Cheryl, you'll know it by the end of the week. So, Bright Hawk, you're looking at Melissa's chart?
What kind of questions did Melissa have?
She just said she's at a crossroads. I can see why. Do you see why, Bright Hawk? There's a couple of indicators of the crossroads.
Well, and I just started looking at the transits. She's got Saturn
Yep.
conjunct Jupiter
Yep.
in Cancer.
Yep.
I mean, in Pisces.
Good.
She's got Mars. You have a lot of retrograde energy, my dear, which is the opposite of Bianca. So when we looked at Bianca's chart, I was like, wow, there's like no retrogrades. Your chart has a lot of retrogrades. I'd invite you to look some of that up. So, for example, I have Mercury retrograde. So Mercury's retrograde right now, which means you're kind of comfortable with it. It's really okay. Things kind of can go your way. You're going to notice it as it comes in and out, for sure, just like the rest of it. But I don't start speaking backwards like, oh, I occasionally will break things during a Mercury retrograde. I still don't understand why, but that seems to happen. So Jupiter retrograde, what does that mean? Jupiter retrograde means that you are going to go against the traditions with which you were raised. So remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarians love philosophy and different ways of thinking about things, and can be very spiritual. So if you were raised, say, traditionally, like a traditional Catholic or whatever, you're probably not going to be that anymore. You're going to want to explore your own spirituality and make your own decisions. The other thing that a Jupiter retrograde will indicate, and this is something that you can really kind of lean into, there's two sides of this coin. One is that Jupiter, you can suffer from lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence. That's the word I'm looking for. But on the other hand, because of that, I'm not sure if I'm good enough vibe, you will become an expert in certain things, probably things that other people are not experts in. And that will give you the confidence to go forward in a really good way. So you also happen to have Mars retrograde, which can turn in on itself. When we look at Mars to speak to our temperament. Mars speaks very much to how people are going to fight. What is it in air, fire, or water, or earth? Is it in a sign? What sign is it in? So your Mars is in Capricorn retrograde, and as well as Neptune. And so we have a Neptune retrograde right now. You heard me talking earlier, hopefully, about Neptune retrograde can mean that illusion, falling for illusion, not seeing things correctly. So those are just a couple of things. I'm sure Hollis has way more. And
well, what I would speak to is right now. Sorry, we've probably been on an echo. Oops, sorry guys. We have to remember to mute each other, at least for now, but soon we'll be moving and we'll be able to be in separate rooms. And so the Jupiter retrograde, yes, Saturn just is headed back towards there, and so is Neptune. I don't think it will get all the way back there, if I remember correctly. I think it'll get close, but not all the way. So you've probably been experiencing some shifts, but I'm betting that those shifts might have something to do with, plus you have the North Node in Aries. This is going to have something to do with like your work, your friends, people that influence you, coworkers, landlords, teachers. Are you in school, or do you kind of like, is there something going on with higher learning, like college or something like that? Or maybe you feel like you need to go back to college or something, because that Saturn is visiting Jupiter. It's probably at least making you feel like you have to like raise your thinking or something like that going on right now. And then plus on top of that, So you have that. And then also we have the South Node in Virgo where Venus is. This is probably like, are you dealing with some relationships thing around your family or something? Melissa Payne, she says no. Okay. Saturn has to do with the system, and it's visiting your Jupiter retrograde in the 11th house. So this usually has something to do with your system or higher learning, education, the law, um legal things. Think about the government and things like that. And you have been and I guess the South Node is in Virgo right now. It's been in there for a little while, and it's headed towards your Venus, which is in your fourth house, which might speak to like things about family and things in the past and things like that. Yeah, you do have a lot of retrogrades right now. So every time things go retrograde, or direct, everybody feels it. But during a retrograde, a lot of these planets are retrograde right now. So they could be kind of triggering you in a way, I would say. And to some degree, you might be feeling a little bit comfortable. And with Uranus going back and forth between Taurus and Gemini, you're a Gemini rising, assuming we have the right time. And if that's true, then Uranus is going back and forth in your 12th house. The 12th house is usually the unseen, things that are not seen, things that you don't know, things you don't realize. This could also have to do with nursing homes, hospitals, mental health facilities, and other hidden type communities, including the other side. Spirit guides, psychic things, everything that's unseen in our world, including like the soul, things like that, right? Okay. So Uranus is going back and forth. So that's a long thing. You've been going over that for like this year, and it'll be next year too. You probably won't. It'll kind of feel like it comes and goes, kind of like it comes in like little spurts. Um, um, anyway, yeah. I can't really do that, Elisa, because a cosmic grief reading or a death chart readings they take a long time. Donna, I am Elisa. They take a long time to do. I'd be lucky if I could do it yeah, I'm not sure there's a mini version of that. Sometimes I'm able to cut it down to like 45 minutes. That's the best I've been able to do. It's a very intense reading. If you're talking about my cosmic grief reading, it's the most intense reading I do of them all. And I'm the only person in the world that does it. Donna, the reason that it's making sense to you, what I'm saying about Uranus coming back and forth, is if you're a Gemini, Uranus is moving between Taurus and Gemini, and it's kind of trying to wake us up. It's trying to put us on our path. And Uranus is trying to head into Gemini, but it just left and went back into Taurus, and it will be back into Gemini soon. I don't know why I'm bothering to talk about it, but it's in Melissa's 12th house. So maybe you need to hear it, Donna. And me being an astrologer, I know damn well
she probably doesn't know what I'm talking about because it's in the 12th house.
Did you notice that the Uranus is almost opposite her natal Uranus? That could be some intensity.
In
Uranus
Melissa Payne? In Melissa Payne?
In Melissa Payne's chart, she is inner ring. She is a 19 Uranus retrograde in Sag.
Yeah, but Uranus is only at 29
Sorry,
degrees.
it's not in Gemini. It's
Right.
So that is a quincunx. Your Uranuses are quincunx.
Okay.
150 degrees.
Oh, okay.
So that could be an uncomfortable energy. It's a fated energy. It's an opposition. Opposites mean what they sound like. And so sometimes we look for the in between, like what's the gift in Taurus, what's the gift in Sag, because they're yeah, not
Okay, I have. So anyway, let me. Finish.
yeah, go ahead. You do it and I'll go on mute.
The last thing I was going to
wrap up
say,
soon.
yeah, we're going to wrap up. The last thing I'm going to say, Melissa, is what you are probably noticing right now is this Mercury retrograde this month. It started earlier this month. It actually started in late October. It would speak a lot to your day-to-day life, or your work in the world, whatever you do with your life every day. And it would also speak to, like, maybe other people's money, and relationships, because it goes almost to your moon in Sag and turns around and comes back. It pretty much goes to the edge of your relationships, and it's in Sagittarius. So there must be something about your day-to-day life, your work in the world, maybe other people's money or other topics you don't want to talk about, as well as relationships. I keep going to things she doesn't want to talk about. So the 12th house, the 8th house, leave it to me. Sorry, it's just who I am. I tend to see things that people are like, don't talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. So there's something to do with that, Melissa. And a lot of times people will just kind of block what I'm saying, and then eventually they'll say, well, this is what's going on. And then I'll be like, well, that's what I said. Okay. So, anyway, so that's the end of our little question and answer mini readings, here on Rainbow Soul Monday nights. I am glad that you all tuned in. I hope that you will subscribe, check out the thing that the video we just released on YouTube. It has our week's forecast for the whole week, and you'll be able to tap into exactly what's going to happen this week, and exactly the astrology that will unwind for all of us. So I'm hoping that you will tap into that and catch us next week for the live question and answer for astrology. Okay, so always bring your birthday and time unless you know I have your chart. Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Thanks for subscribing and unliking. It really helps a lot. Appreciate it. Have a great week.